What's up, everybody? You're listening to Roundtable Wrestling Radio for Tuesday night, November 22nd, 2016. I'm Joe924, and with me, as always, from Queens, New York.
The one, the only, the Byron.
And from the Bronx of New York City.
The man, the myth. Oh.
Of course, 26 years ago, Undertaker made his debut today. The Undertaker.
26 years ago. That's fucking
26 years ago.
I'm fucking, how old am I now, man? I'm fucking like 85 years old. I'm fucking old.
I was 12 years old when Undertaker debuted.
Dude, open up the window. You huffing and puffing this whole fucking studio.
Good shit, up, man. Some good shit. But, so yeah, Undertaker made his debut 26 years ago, man. On Team, I think,
dude.
Made his debut.
That was crazy.
$1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, and then, of course, I'm sorry, Brother Love.
Actually, you know what?
He was in a $1 million team, yeah.
He was the first wrestler to ever debut on a pay-per-view. Isn't he?
Was he?
I believe so. I don't think any other wrestler debuted on a pay-per-view.
I do remember the day he debuted. I specifically said to myself, that's me, Mark. Like, I know, that's me, Mark from WCW. Yeah, because I was young, so I was always saying to myself, wow, this is crazy how that's me, Mark.
Really?
And then I second guessed it, like, wait a minute.
You were watching WCW at that time?
Yes. I remember he used to do the heart punch, but he was never, like, one of my favorites. But when I seen him, I knew it was me, Mark, because he was just in WCW about a year or two prior to that. So it was freaking obvious.
I didn't know. I didn't know who the fuck he was. Yeah, I didn't know about WCW. I don't remember if I did. I know that I knew who Lex Luger was and I knew who Ric Flair was, but not the Undertaker for sure.
It was the same thing with Mankind. I knew that was Cactus Jack.
Yeah.
But then in the back of my mind, I'm like, but is it? Because he's another name. Like, I'm young, so I didn't know.
But that time, he was in ECW, and it was common knowledge that he was.
Dude, you must have been the only guy watching WCW at that time, man, because.
I used to love WCW, man. When I was younger, I really thought WCW was more realer than WWE. I don't know why. It just felt more real.
At that time, all we had was Worldwide, I think, on Channel 2. And there wasn't a lot of access to WCW.
But if you do remember, I always stated this, that because of The Undertaker, I became a wrestling fan. It was because of him. Because I thought his character was so cool, and I got so into it. But I was never really a wrestling fan.
Don't you think he should have been at the Survivor Series? Like,
yeah,
I really thought he was gonna come out. I don't understand what the hell happened. They definitely dropped the ball.
He came out and celebrated with them at least.
Yeah, like I don't understand that. I mean, then again, it would have looked weird him celebrating with the Wyatts.
That's true.
Yeah, definitely. Which that right there to me, I don't know why they were so survivors, but we got to get into that match.
Before we get into that, I just want to say, at first I wasn't like enjoying Randy Orton, but now I kind of am enjoying Randy Orton with the Wyatts. Like now he's embracing it, and now that their promos are getting better with Orton. The only thing is the glowing eyes thing. That's the only thing. But other than that, I like with Bray.
I don't mind it. I just don't like the fact that they're calling it the new Wyatt family. Let it just be Bray and Randy or, something like that. Why does he have to feel like he's in the shadows of Bray Wyatt, an established wrestler like that, That's the only problem. That's why I think he's definitely going to turn soon.
I don't think people thought it was legit at first. They didn't know what to make of it. But now it's, after Survivor Series, I mean, he's in the Wyatt family.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he shouldn't be in the shadows of Bray Wyatt or Luke Harper, especially.
That's what I was
Wyatt family.
Too.
And and I wanted to say this: what happened to Eric Rowan? Like once like Randy Orton got involved, he was gone. What the hell happened?
Yeah, he's nobody really likes him. That's the thing.
Yeah, but I'd rather see him than Randy Orton. I don't know.
Yeah, but
really? You'd rather see Eric Rowan than Randy Orton?
As far as a Wyatt family, yeah. Not Randy Orton being a Dozier. That's what I was tier person in the group.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't know if anybody who's been a superstar has joined a group as a secondary position.
That's what I'm saying. It just doesn't make no sense. I do call it swerve. He has to turn on Bray Wyatt, and if he stays with him, then they're gonna have to change that name, man.
No, eventually he'll turn on him because
turn on.
Bray Wyatt is gonna just be a dick with him eventually, and somewhere down the road he will. But right now they're holding their own on it. So
yeah. So there was a lot of activity, obviously, starting with NXT in Toronto. A glorious opening entrance by Bobby Roode with a choir backing him up with it fits so well with that song, and Bobby Roode has really embraced. You could just see like he has a resurgence in his demeanor. Like I'm in a big time place instead of whatever the fuck he was doing over there in TNA.
Yeah.
I think every time they have an NXT event or anytime AJ's on TV, it's like a dagger. It has to be a dagger to TNA every single time. Because Bobby Roode opens the show, Samoa Joe closes the show, and AJ is the man. That's a fucking dagger to TNA, man.
And these are guys that they had, and they put WWE guys over them all the fucking time.
It reminds
WWE
me
opposite of that.
Yeah. It reminds me of when Benoit, Guerrero, Saturn, and Malenko came over. You know, that was a pretty big dagger to WCW because those were the main workhorses of WCW at that time. And now they're in the WWE, and I remember Benoit obviously immediately pushed to the moon, and Eddie Guerrero, of course, eventually. But it's got to be a dagger every single time, man. But anyway, so I have to say this right off the bat: the crowd for NXT was way hotter than it was for Survivor Series.
Oh yeah,
and it proves Byron's point that even though it's in Toronto, it is different crowds. I mean, there is a difference between a WWE crowd and an NXT crowd. Even if it's in the same building 3 nights in a row, the same people, not all of the same people go to NXT as they do for WWE because there's a huge difference in the crowd reception. You can hear it. You know, they were red hot for NXT. Anything that they were doing was cheered and chanted. You know, for example, Bobby Roode and Ty Dillinger, it wasn't, you know, classic by any stretch, but they were into it. The crowd made that match. So even if it was not the best match, you wouldn't know. You know, that's what makes the difference. But
you know what it is? I feel like the main roster, like Raw, is more of they're forcing everybody down our throat compared to NXT, where they let the crowd cheer for whoever they want to be a superstar, and then they go that route. Compared to Raw, like Raw is like, okay, Roman Reigns, oh my God, you know, this person not getting stuff down our throat, you know.
Absolutely.
I think people at this point, I'm realizing that the fans are just worried if they cheer Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
You know, that's the bad part. Is if you cheer for him, he's gonna be the guy. But they don't want him to be the guy.
Right.
That's why they want everybody to know, do not push him. And they still little by little trying to do it like they did at the Survivor Series. Why was he the last guy?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Because let me tell you something. I was watching that match, and I know we're jumping ahead, but just for a second, Roman works his ass off, man. Good. I mean, that guy works his fucking ass off. I was even saying to myself about the booing. Like, you know, okay, I get that you don't want him to be the guy. I get that. Listen, Kevin Owens right now, or AJ, or even Brock or Goldberg, those are going to be the guys. I don't think people have to worry too much about Roman being the guy. So I think they should let up on him a little bit, because the guy's not work. You know, if he was terrible or whatever, I would understand it. But the guy busted his ass in that match,
have you noticed? WWE has taken the mic away from him a lot. So he's less with mic work. And but regardless, like I said, people are just afraid to cheer him at this point because they don't want him to be that guy, because they already know that's who they still want. You get what I'm saying? So, pardon me if I sound fucked up. I'm just a little stuffy.
Me too. I'm very stuffy. Going back to NXT, we're not going to get into everything because we're just not. But because there's so much to happen at Survivor Series.
Yeah, because we got a lot to talk about TNA, because TNA is the shit.
Yeah. They had a tremendous episode last week. I actually watched a little bit of TNA last week, believe it or not. I was amazement. I was in amazement. Like, I couldn't believe what I was watching. But anyway, I want to jump into one of the main matches that was really built up was Asuka versus Mickie James. Now, this was actually amazing because Mickey James was fucking amazing in that match. She
Yeah.
did not miss a fucking beat. If anything, nobody has done that to Asuka. Nobody in WWE.
Well, she didn't miss a beat because she never stopped wrestling. You
Right.
know what I mean? But one
I know,
thing I did
but
notice
the
is
crowd-
she dropped
the crowd
a
saw,
significant
like-
amount of weight.
Yeah. Yes.
But think about it. It's crazy that she was in the era where Trish and Nita was involved, and she's still
Yeah.
there. You get what I'm saying? That she could still hang with a
Well,
young chick like that.
But she never really stopped though. Wasn't she doing independence right before this run? I mean, I know she was in TNA for a couple years, and she.
But my
No,
whole
and
point
I mean
is,
after that.
my whole
you
point
know?
is, my whole
Yeah.
point is, the other two retired, and she's still in there. You get what I'm saying? It just looks so fucking weird that she's still hanging in there.
Mickey James was always one of my favorites, definitely. But
she
I don't know.
dominated.
I liked the match. I felt like she did a pretty good job, but for some reason, I don't.
She did a great job. She did a great
She
job.
did a great. Yeah, she did a great job. But I don't know. I don't know what it was. It's just the match. I wasn't really that into the match that much. But I was impressed with the fact that she was able to hang with Asuka, and she didn't botch nothing. But for some reason, I really wasn't into this match like that. I don't know.
Well,
for me.
the problem I had was that Mickey did her thing and it was awesome, but Asuka had literally no offense, and then she does the choke thing that she does. 2 seconds she taps out. I don't like that. That was a bad finish to that match. Give Asuka something, and obviously it looked like they turned Asuka heel because
Was she always here?
Was she? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
I
pretty sure she was.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
know. I didn't know she was a heel,
I wouldn't know. So
but she was definitely a heel in this match. That's for sure.
But Mickey James
It's
lost.
Mickey James had, but what I'm saying, Mickey James had a tremendous effort, dominated the match, and then Asuka's return move was the choke, and that's it. They should have had Asuka do something else other than that. I get they wanted Mickey to look strong, but damn, that made Asuka look kind of bad, in my opinion.
yeah, a bad guy.
No, kind of bad in like, you
I
built.
don't think. You really think she looked bad?
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about
Yes.
Mickey James, man. She fought the best women at her
Yeah,
era.
but if
I
you
mean,
watch-
talking
but if
about,
you
this is
watch
not a
that-
slouch. This is not a.
But this-
I don't know.
Dude, she was dominating all over the world. She's like the female version of Nakamura. I mean, you're not going to dominate
Yeah, but-
Nakamura the entire. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, come on, that's not. They and you
Yeah,
could even
but
see
like
it
I
in
was
the promo
saying,
match.
like it's not like. Nah, I understand what you're saying, but you don't want to make Mickey James look weak either, because I don't think this is going to be a one and done deal. I think she's going to come back. She's going to be
No,
calling the main roster, but
I'm not saying that she should look weak. I'm just saying that it should have been more competitive. That's all. I'm not arguing with anything that happened. I'm just saying it should
you
have
know
been
what I think they did.
a little more
I think
competitive.
you know what I think they did. I think that they probably wanted Mickey James to dominate most of the match, so the fans that don't know who she was or barely remember her, get to see what she could do. You know what I'm saying? That's and
Like, Asuka should have had something though. Asuka should have had something in that match. She had that one German suplex on the outside, which was sick. That was a sick German suplex. But other than that, Asuka got dominated. Nikki did to Asuka what Goldberg did to Lesnar.
That's what I was gonna say. It's just to remind everybody who that person is, or just refresh people's memories. That's the only reason why they did that.
And then Samoa Joe versus Nakamura. Awesome match, obviously. Nakamura.
No. We got to talk about the revival, man.
Oh,
that was one of the
you're right. You're right.
that was one of the matches of the
Yeah, I
weekend.
think that was
Like,
the match.
That was the match of the weekend, as far as I'm concerned.
that match was great. Let me tell you something about the revival, man. They're so smooth and fluent, and they just make no mistakes. That's what you call, as of right now, one of the greatest tag teams out right now. And I cannot wait
but you
until they get called up.
gotta credit both teams, man. You
Both
gotta
teams.
credit both teams because they both
Gargano was awesome. Ciampa was awesome. But I agree. The way that the Revival move in that ring as a unit is unreal. It's and by the way, big ups to Corey Graves, because Corey was doing some old school commentating, talking about cutting the ring in half and all that. I love stuff like that. And the Revival was wearing the Heart Foundation gear, and they did the heart attack, which gave me more bonus points.
I popped hard when they did the heart attack.
Heart
did.
attack.
I was like, wow. And then it was just the way they did it, the timing, and how they did it. It was fucking great, man. Great. I actually thought the match was over after that, but it kept going.
That match was incredible, man. That was an old school 2 out of 3 falls match. That was that whole situation was old school. You know, they reminded us about what happened in the last match with the legs, so everybody thought that was going to happen again, but they didn't do that. It was just like up and down, nonstop, man. That was TNA. That was total nonstop action. Not a
you're right
dull
about that.
moment. Not a dull moment in that match. Not a dull moment. The Revival is out of this world fucking good. They are so fucking good, man. Really good. But hold your horses, because if they come to the main roster, we know that tag teams from NXT, other than Enzo and Kaz, don't do very well. Fucking
Yeah, I know the Von Villains is a perfect example, man. My God, they just
the
got beaten
Vaudevillains,
like
the
a minute
Ascension,
today.
the Ascension are a good example. I mean,
They
there's a lot of
aren't doing that good either. I mean, you know, their whole shtick is them coming out using. Well, actually, Enzo is the one that's using Mike.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. And
they're
the other
over.
guy's a big guy.
They're over.
And Vince wants that. I know for sure Vince wants to separate them eventually to make the big guy the guy.
Well, he's already talking about going after the Universal title, Big Cats.
Yeah. So,
Really?
you know, Enzo
Yes?
is the one that's going to
Yeah.
suffer through the whole thing.
Even American Alpha, they're not doing as great as everybody thought they were going to do at this point. I'm not saying they won't gel into a great team in the future, but they're not really doing much. Like, they don't really get much of a crowd reaction. I don't know. It's definitely a big difference since NXT.
Hopefully the Revival, when they go to the main roster, do feud with the American Alpha, because that could help both of those teams.
Now, but wait a minute. When let's just say they feud, right? Once they're on the main roster, then what after?
What do you mean? Well, they got to the titles. I don't know how.
That's my problem. With
I like Rhino and I like Heath Slater, but I don't know how they're the tag team champions.
And for this long, because
out of Ascension, Usos, fucking Headbanger. I mean, come on, really?
Well, let's not throw the Ascension in there. I mean, come on, you act like they're so great. They've been shitting on since they got there.
Oh, they were good in NXT.
They were awesome, man.
Yeah, but since they became to the main roster, they've been getting shitted on. I mean,
I know, but I'm saying that could be a great team, though. That could be a fucking. But by the way, Paul Ellering should have been with those guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's who he should.
Then they really would have been a fucking Legion of Doom ripoff if he would have managed them the time they were in the red and black.
Old school, man. Old school. Let's bring some old school back. And by the way, the whole weekend, in my opinion, felt like an old school weekend. They really did a good job with the Survivor Series in terms of making it traditional. NXT was really good. But yeah, honestly, I thought Nakamura and Samoa Joe was going to be the match of the night, but the Revival, that was a hard act to follow. Even the crowd wasn't, they were into Joe and Nakamura, but not as much as they were for Revival and Ciampa and Gargano. They were not as hot for that.
Yeah, but Joe and Nakamura was a great match, so I liked it. I really enjoyed it.
Like that.
It was nice.
By the way, that reminded me of why I like Joe, because that guy, for his size, the way he went through the ropes, I was like, damn, Joe's good. I was like, Joe is so good. And that's why I like it, because Joe is a stiff guy. Nakamura is definitely a stiff guy. And that's a great pairing, because they're not going to complain with each other. You go at me, I'll go at you. And that's what I like about that.
But did you think that Joe was going to dominate most of that match, man? He really, I mean, he looked like he really fucked up Nakamura, man. Like, they really gave Joe the nod for that. And it has to be for a reason.
That's good. That's good, though, because Joe's been taking it, so...
But remember, everybody was saying, Samoa Joe is going to lose and this and this and that. I knew they were going to probably most likely swerve everybody from thinking that he's going to go to the main roster.
Sure.
And they did a good job on doing that, because
I was
that's
wrong
how
on
everybody predicted. If you saw everybody's look in the arena, everybody predicted that was the case. It was Samoa Joe going to lose, go to the main roster, and it wasn't the case.
I mean, he did.
There was a lot of good things he did.
He did win with a low blow, but
but there was a lot of things that WWE did good for shock value.
Yes,
this past week.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I was definitely wrong about that. I thought for sure, Nakamura. And by the way, I was telling Byron this off the show. I called my father, who doesn't know anything about NXT. He's never heard of it. Doesn't know. I swear to God, I tell him Nakamura's gonna fight. He comes right over, because he wants to see Nakamura. And I kid you not, He loved, by the way, the Revival match, and he loved, obviously, Nakamura. He didn't like the Samoa Joe blow blow thing, by the way. He's very old school on stuff like that. But the very next day for Survivor Series, the first thing he says to me is Nakamura going to wrestle tonight? And I'm like, no, he's not going to wrestle. He's in love with Nakamura, man. I mean, I'm really surprised because he didn't know anything about him before this run that he's had. But really good, solid show, man. Really good, solid show from NXT. Way better, by the way, than the last show, in my opinion. Way better. And
I think it was either equally as good as Survivor Series or
yes.
Maybe
some people will say better. Yeah, some people will say that, because of the Revival and because of Nakamura, that it was better. By the way, I got to say this because this was one of the biggest debates of the year, believe it or not. Aside from Paige and her throwing her life down the toilet, the one thing that we debated a lot is the Nakamura entrance from the other show. So Nakamura comes out with people playing violins, which I thought was awesome, by the way, except for one part. I loved the fact that they surrounded him and that when he went down to do his pose, that they were doing the violins on top of him. That was awesome. But the problem I had with it was that they weren't playing the violins.
Yeah, it was obviously they wasn't playing it.
That was the problem. My father loved it. He thought he doesn't hear too well, so he thought that they were playing the violin, but I knew that they weren't playing the violins. That was the only problem that I had because they were making it like they were playing it, and I'm like, no, that's not them. That's why, again, I go back to the last one. That guy actually played that fucking violin the last time. Mm-hmm. So on to the Survivor Series. A lot of fucking controversy about this one, and what else can you expect from Survivor Series? It's the pay-per-view that has the most controversy around it. If you remember, The Rock, when he beat Mankind for the WWE title at Deadly Games, that was a very controversial Survivor Series. And, of course, something happened in 97. I don't know. Some little thing happened in 97 back in the day.
A little.
Yeah, just a little thing.
That's small.
Before I get to the Survivor Series, I just want to say real quick before I forget, because I know I am. I don't know if you know this, but on the WWE Network, they did this ECW thing. It's the unauthorized story of ECW, kind of like, a second documentary. What did you think about it?
It was okay. I think they could have went into it more. Yeah. I think they had to cut things short. Yeah, like with Paul Heyman, he asked him a couple of questions, but then he jumped on to the next guy. After that, the next guy. It was pretty fast paced. I think they should have made like a part up to part 10 or something. Next week we'll get into this and that, whatever,
Yes. But the reason I bring it up is because they also have the top 50 ECW incidences. Now that is something that you need to watch. Because it is it's like
on the air right now.
You have it out already?
Yeah, it's on the WWE Network.
I know Shane Douglas and the guy with the he paralyzed is in it, right?
Shane Douglas is not in it, but everybody else is. Raven, Mikey, everybody, Sign Guy.
You're saying the video where he grabbed the guy by his
yeah, Shane's not. Like it's obviously it's like the 50 greatest moments that they had in WWE, but it's ECW. They have everybody there, and it's kind of like having a second documentary. It's almost 3 hours long, by the way. But I'm telling you, it's a must. That's what I was watching instead of SmackDown. I couldn't stop. Because they, in between the moments, they would have Rob Van Dam, people that you wouldn't even think, like Sign Guy Dudley, people we haven't seen, Lance Storm, Jericho.
Wait a minute, they had the actual matches or just incident?
No, the incident, it could be a match, the barbed wire match between Sabu and Terry Funk.
What do you mean? You talk about like legitimate incidents, or these are storyline incidents?
The top 50 moments of ECW history.
Oh, okay.
Wait, because I have the original tape to that. They actually have the
this is a new one. It's all new interviews. I'm telling you, it's a must watch.
No, but I'm saying they didn't show the whole match is what I'm saying, right?
No. They just talk. They show the highlights and they talk about what happened during the match or whatever. It's really. They show the Komano Wanalea stuff.
Wow.
I was surprised at the stuff that they showed. Let's put it that way.
Did they show the one with Kurt Angle didn't like with the crucifixion?
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Raven's on it, and it's new.
Telling me, but wait a minute. I know Shane Douglas is not on it, but you're telling me the incident where he grabbed the guy by the halo, whatever the thing is called,
Oh no, the incident is on. Yeah.
It's there, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It has to be. That was one of the biggest fucking controversies. I remember everybody in the stands were jumping the guardrails to beat Shane Douglas up because they thought it was real.
Yes. They talk all about that. All about
Okay.
that. It's awesome. I'm telling you, it is a must watch. If it was a Blu-ray, I would buy it. Like it's like having a second the ECW documentary Rise and Fall. It's like having a second. It's like having a second one.
Wait a minute, they didn't announce this. I don't remember them announcing this shit.
I know. They announced it during the ECW thing, the talk.
I probably missed it then.
That's how I saw it, and I was like, "Let me check this out." I thought it was going to be something different, and I see like it's like a documentary. It's like.
And when did that come out? It came out the same day.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm like, wow, Raven's on it, and Lance Storm is on it. It's all new stuff. All new, people talking right now. And I'm like, Raven talked about that, by the way, the crucifixion. He was like, he didn't want to make the apology and whatnot. And they talked about Kurt Angle that they actually went more in depth on that he threw a fit in the back. And they were like, and Raven said, if Kurt Angle wasn't there, I wouldn't have had to apologize. That's what he said. They never said that before. And there was a couple.
This is Raven nowadays.
Yeah, now.
Yeah. You see how old he looks, man, and how kind of like he looks pretty sick, man.
They talk about the. I never knew that the reason that Kimona danced is because the ring broke. And they sent her out there.
Yeah, that was just a distraction. I remember that. I have that video too, the actual video.
They talked all about that. You would never guess what number one incident or whatever moment or whatever.
I gotta see this.
When the Dudleys left.
No, but they do show. Let me tell you something. They showed, and I'm being dead serious. They show more. They show more stuff about the Dudleys and what they did with the fans than they did in the other one.
I could imagine.
No, honestly, they actually show way more stuff in this documentary than they showed in the last one. Honestly,
I hope they showed Elks Lodge stuff too, the Winning Queens, because I used to go to a lot of that shit, and there was a lot of incidents during that shit too.
They went more in depth on the Mike Awesome thing. For example, they never said in the first documentary that Taz and Mike Awesome met in the back before they went out. They actually talked more about that when Mike Awesome was in WCW and he had to drop the belt to Taz. And by the way, it was Vince who sent Taz to ECW because he didn't like what happened with WCW. Which is still unbelievable. If people didn't live through that, to have a WCW guy wrestle a WWE guy for the ECW title in ECW is still mind-blowing. It's fucking mind-blowing. And that Vince sent Taz down for that. And Taz didn't want to be there, by the way, he said. He didn't want to do it. And so
he didn't want to do it. Why?
He said he was done with that, and he didn't want to be there.
He sent Taz why? Because Mike Austin was going to WCW? That's what you're saying?
Because Mike Austin was gonna drop the belt on Nitro on TV. And they sent marshals to get the belt because it was their property and whatever.
Yeah, so when he debuted, I remember when he debuted on Nitro, I saw this live.
Yeah, me too.
He came out. He didn't have the belt on him. I remember he attacked somebody, but they mentioned, he's the ECW champion. Yeah. Blah 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 blah. And there was already rumors that he was going to do something with that title over there. They were going to humiliate it.
Well, no, they actually gave Mike Awesome WC. Get this. WCW sent Mike Awesome to that event with Doug Dillinger.
Yeah, I remember that.
So Taz says he walks into the room and he sees Doug Dillinger. And he's like, obviously he says it in a way like, really, Doug Dillinger? Yo, I'm telling you, you got to watch this. If you're an ECW fan, even if you're not an ECW fan.
You're already hyping me up.
Yo, where's it under? Because I'm looking for it. What section is under?
It's just type in ECW.
Right in the homepage. There's like things
at the very bottom.
Yeah, if you put the homepage, oh my God, ECW incidences. So number one is the chair thing, because Terry, I don't know if anybody ever noticed this, but Terry Funk asked, I'm sorry, Cactus Jack asked for a chair from a fan, and that's when they throw all the chairs. Terry Funk got hit, and they show it when he gets hit right in the fucking head with a steel chair, and he goes down. They were like that was, that was really, really like cool, but it was really bad. They actually talked more about how bad it was. That they, there wasn't something that was supposed to. Whenever I watched that footage, I always thought it was something that was a part of it.
Now you could tell that it wasn't a part of it, man. If you look at like how Cactus Jack acted and just like started like falling on the floor and like I think he left the ring, you can tell that was not supposed to be like that. But anyway, who the hell is gonna really want the crowd to throw a bunch of chairs and almost break their nose? Nah,
yeah, it was all because Cactus asked for a chair.
They uploaded all the ECW.
Yeah, the whole library. The whole library.
That's it. It's all there, people. It's all there.
That's great. That's actually great.
They talk about everything. I'm telling you that it's a must watch.
And let me ask you something. In ECW, this guy, the guy from the Smash Pumpkins, he was on that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I see a little video here with him in it.
So it's called ECW Exposed, right?
That's the talking thing. The one I'm talking about is the top 50 incidences of ECW. Oh my God!
I'm looking for what's that? Oh, I found it. Go to Originals. Just go to Originals. It's there.
Originals are.
Yeah, it's the
first on the
one.
homepage.
No, it's not. Actually, I went. It's probably on your homepage because you already saw it.
Anyway,
but it's on the original.
But trust me, it's a must-watch. All new interviews and all that. So really, really cool stuff. So going into Survivor Series, and by the way, I don't know if you remember this, but when you first told me about the tag team match, the 10-on-10, I remember I said you're gonna see like eliminations like a motherfucker, like real quick, and that's exactly what happened. I didn't like that. That's the only.
But nobody likes predicted that New Day would get fucking eliminated as fast as they did.
But this is why WWE was shocking people left and right that night, because New Day's guys, you wouldn't expect that.
No, I didn't expect that.
He would be one of the last few guys in that.
But why they did that? I guess they figured, okay, let's just kill the everybody's hopes or everybody's thoughts, get them out, and then everybody's gonna be like, wow, who's gonna win now?
Weren't they like the captains or some shit? Or
yeah, they were. They were the tag team.
They were exactly.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? I mean, I don't know if I was the only one.
And by the way, nobody would have predicted that Cesaro and Sheamus would have been the sole survivors.
Crazy.
I for some reason I felt like, I mean, I don't know because I was tired or whatever, but was I the only one who felt like the club kind of looked strong in that match? Like I felt like they eliminated two teams. I felt like they did pretty good to kind of redeem themselves in a way, not completely, but like just a little bit. They eliminated two teams, and I don't think the other tag teams didn't do that.
You know who else looked as strong? The Puerto Rican guys.
Oh yeah,
they look pretty good in that match. They didn't. I thought they would be the first ones out of there.
So I guess they figure let's make the people that nobody cares about look the strongest, so they could have something.
I like
some
that.
kind of momentum.
By the way, I was right on almost everything except for Kalisto and Brian Kendrick. By the way, let me just say this right off the bat. I said the women's team was going to win, and I said the tag team was going to win for Raw. I was right about that, and I said SmackDown was going to win for the main SmackDown. Kalisto, let me tell you something. Brian Kendrick comes out there to crickets. I don't know what is going on, but man, does he suck the air out of the fucking room. Holy shit, bro. Dude. That crowd,
and I don't understand.
If you watch,
Kendrick is a great character.
I have surround sound, so I have literally, it's like being in the arena, and the crowd was hot for that tag team match. The crowd was hot for the women's match, and then Kendrick comes out and he is dead fucking.
That's my point right there. That's what I was saying before. The thing is, these people don't want to watch cruiserweights. They don't. No, and this is why I said.
Disagree.
I think they don't want to watch these cruiserweights. They don't want to watch these people.
Not even that.
Not only that, it's the way, but Byron, it's the way that they set up the division in the first place with TJ.
Right. But that's my point. These people, first of all, it's like me. I'm watching it, who is this guy? What is he about? I don't know shit about him. He's just in there. You know what I'm saying? So you can't fucking follow these characters because you know nothing about them.
But you didn't watch the Cruiserweight show. O did. He knew everybody.
But that's the problem.
You know what happened? You want to know what happened? They were banking on Ibushi, signing with them, and in the last minute he decided not to, and they figured, okay, we gotta do something. We gotta give it to this guy then. And they gave it to the wrong guy. Let me tell you something. They had a lot of people that the crowd was popping for, and T.J. Perkins was not one of them. T.J. Perkins was the person who.
Kalisto should have been the one to start that fucking thing.
And I agree with you. Because at least everybody knows him. You understand what I'm saying? But all these guys, it kind of like, even if you have
Kalisto luster somewhere, he lost his luster.
But even if you have Kalisto running the ship, people still don't get behind it because you don't know the rest of the guys.
But it's like put it like this. It would have been a good start though.
I know, but the thing is, if they would have done it like see, look, UFC. I remember if you didn't know anything about these guys, you really cannot follow them because you don't really know what they're about. You just know that if he beats him, oh, he was pretty good, but you'll forget him the next day because
that's true.
You can't follow that. But what they did once they started doing that whole you win a contract with the UFC, you had episodes of them. And you winded up getting to know the character.
You know what it was? WWE thought that
WWE.
You know what it was?
Cruiserweight show.
You know what it was? The crowd in the Cruiserweight show. A lot of the crowd. Hold on, let me say this one point. The crowd in the Cruiserweight show, they knew a lot of these wrestlers, from the independent days. But for some reason, when they got in the main rosters, like nobody knew no more. I don't know if it was two different crowds, but it's just like nobody knew who they were. But they know who they were in the Cruiserweight show. That was the crazy shit.
But that's what I said in the beginning of the show. People underestimate the fact that there are two different crowds. WWE crowd is very different from NXT and any other crowd.
That's why I always worry.
And like I said before, they were banking on a Ibushi signing.
You should have started with Kalisto, and at least the people would have known Kalisto, and then you build other guys around Kalisto. You don't start with a guy that was homeless and nobody cares about, and then also Brian Kendrick. Listen, Brian Kendrick's a hell of a fucking wrestler, but for some reason nobody gives a flying fuck.
Let me tell you something. Kalisto got bigger business, man. He's feuding with Baron Bolden. That's why he's not the champion. That's bigger business right now.
I think the WWE.
That, by the way, that was one of the things. It's been a long time that I've been genuinely pissed off at a finish for a wrestling match. That pissed me the fuck off when Baron Corbin came out and fucked that match. Honestly, that pissed me off. It really
didn't make no sense. And I thought the match was actually pretty decent.
Oh, it made sense. No, it was good. I thought it was very good.
I know they're making their own show and shit, right? But I think if they would have just let that show be on its own for, let's just say, a year or two, you at least get to know these characters, and then have them jump onto.
They're making their own show. I think this is last minute planning about their own show. They figured, damn, they're not going over on Raw. We need a show where we could really showcase who these people are, instead of just 10 minutes of a fucking of a 3-hour show. That's the only reason why they're doing it, because the crowd is shitting on them.
That's what I'm saying. The people over there are in the crowd. They're watching this, but who are these guys really? I don't know. It makes you want to just get up and leave. Let me go.
And also remember, WWE is limiting what the cruiserweights can do. I don't know if you know that, but Vince McMahon does not want all that flying 450 spike. They don't want none of that. And to me, it makes no sense to me. To be honest with you,
that still wouldn't help that division on Raw. It just wouldn't help.
That's why I think that's why they're shitting on it. Nobody's into it because everybody wants to. They want to see the Rey Mysterio moves. They want to see all this.
Right. You're waiting to see the fucking the 10-man tag. I'm not the 10-man tag. Raw versus SmackDown match, right? But you waiting for that one match, but then you have the cruiserweight guys there. You don't know who these guys are really, like, because a lot of people are not following it.
I'll be honest with you. I think most people were waiting for the Goldberg Lesnar.
But that's what I'm saying. So it kind of makes people not want to pay attention to that because you're waiting.
They want to get through it. Yeah, they want to get through it.
The big timers to the guy with name recognition and I feel bad for them.
And you know what's crazy? If you would compare how they wrestled in the Cruiserweight Classic to now, it was like two different people. I'm talking about Cedric Alexander. Took the show in the Cruiserweight Classic. Fucking who else? It was just so many. Joey Nice. That guy right there is a monster, and the way they limit these people just makes no sense.
That was a report that they actually did tell them to tone it down.
I know, and I don't understand that. Like, that's what made the show. You know, it made it different. Like,
you know why?
Look at these moves. We never see these moves.
The problem is they're not going to outshine the big dogs. You know what I'm saying? Like, they are raw.
If they're going to keep on having that mindset, then, you know, a new division is not going to work.
I agree with that. I agree. I never understood the mentality of don't outshine the big dogs when the big dogs are not doing it either.
Because let's just be honest, when the Cruiserweights first debuted, right, in WCW, they were outshining Hogan matches, and Hogan was still the biggest draw.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It shouldn't matter.
What do you think? And what do you think the documentaries say now? Exactly what you just said. They outshined all those guys. WWE doesn't want the big guys to be outshined by these little guys.
But what he's saying is that when WCW did it, it didn't hurt Hogan. It didn't hurt Nash. It didn't hurt Goldberg. It didn't hurt DDP.
You're right. It didn't. But the way Vince McMahon thinks.
I know, but that's retardedness. That's absolute retardedness. In NXT, if the opening match is a blockbuster, then it's a blockbuster. Then the next match is a blockbuster. Whatever.
Let's wait until Vince dies and Triple H could actually.
Again, like I said, I'm going on record. That's not going to happen until he dies. He's not.
Which is in about 20 years because he ain't dying.
He's not retiring. Exactly. He's not retiring. He's in good health. You know, unless a massive accident happens, he's not going anywhere. And that mentality, again, it's interesting because so many things have changed. I mean, you can't deny that things have changed. There's no way in 15 years ago AJ Styles would be WWE champion. There's no way Owens would be fucking whatever champion he is. So things have changed, but at the same time, they also have this mentality of you can't outshine the main event and this and that. That's just stupidity, though. Let them go out there and do shine, because it only helps everybody. I think that kind of thing only helps everybody. It helped WCW. And let me tell you something. One of the main things I would watch WCW for wasn't Hogan and everybody, even though I was into that. I was watching Eddie Guerrero. I was watching Ultimo Dragon. Psychosis. That's what I was really into. But I also stuck around for Hogan promos and whatever because I was into, that show had everything. And you have a 3-hour Raw. You should have cruiserweights. You should have women. You should have all kinds of things. There's nothing wrong with that. I think limiting, like you said, Rich Swann and Tony Nese and these guys are fucking phenomenal athletes.
I think this is the biggest mistake they did was give it to this TJ Perkins guy. Absolutely. That was the biggest mistake. But like I said, I think they gave it to him because they thought Ibushi was going to sign, and he didn't at the last minute and gave it to him. Like, you know what? We got to give it to this dude.
I'll give you an example.
And it just failed, man.
How can anybody convince Vince McMahon at this point after the Sasha Banks?
I know.
And it just would make him feel like, I told you so. You get what I'm saying? It's just
absolutely.
You can't convince that guy.
Absolutely, and not only that, but I want to say for the record that when Charlotte fights Sasha or Charlotte fights Bayley or Becky fights Alexa, they have stellar 5-star matches. But when they're in there together at the same time, it is a massive clusterfuck. Yeah. Because that Survivor Series match was a massive one clusterfuck after another. They didn't know.
Yeah, it was.
They looked like they didn't know where they were. They didn't know who was supposed to be legal. I mean, it was just a massive. By the way, and that happens every time there's multiple women.
This is why a couple months ago I said that.
It's all right.
I'm trying to say a couple months ago about the ladder match before people thought I was sexist. Like, just it was too much women. They get confused, and I'm not trying to say it's because of the gender. It's just how it is in wrestling. If they botch one-on-one matches, what makes you think a bunch of them is not going to botch? Come on.
You know what's interesting? I don't know if you know who Rogan, the guy that does the UFC. Joe Rogan. He made a great point. He said it's not sexist to say a woman can't do what a man can do. That's not sexist. That's just reality. A woman cannot do something that certain men can do. And like I said, when as it pertains to the table with Sasha Banks, I mean, she almost broke her fucking back.
Perfect example right there.
You know, like, and it's not. It's just that when, and by the way, you could track it in any situation where there's multiple women. It's a clusterfuck. I was hoping for that Survivor Series match to be awesome, but there was so much disarray in that match. I don't know what it was, man. When it's like one-on-one, they kill it. They kill it every single time. Charlotte, especially, obviously, she's the number one. You know, Sasha kills it, Bayley kills it, but when it's multiple women at the same time, it just goes wrong all the time. I don't know what it is. And they might be losing.
I don't know. I got the feel of like 2 or 3 of these matches was just matches of like a taunting fest. Did you get the same like feeling? Like,
yeah,
it just felt like they were just taunting, just playing off the crowd more than they were actually wrestling in the beginning. It's kind of annoying me.
It's gotten to the point now where, listen, I enjoy when Sasha Banks fights Charlotte.
Yeah,
I think they always have the classic matches, right? But you need to build more women.
Yes.
You cannot have the same fucking match every week and have interactions with the same chick every week.
Yeah,
it just becomes repetitive.
I don't know. I'm starting to like Dana Brooke. I think she's making strides. I think she's getting better. I wish I could say the same for Nia Jax. She's just a monster, and that's what she does.
But she's very clumsy.
It tapped her out, man.
I don't like
damn, she was just beating the shit out of people. I don't know how many weeks she gets tapped out. Like what the hell was that?
But that's exactly what I said about Asuka. She's been dominating for fucking months, and she taps out in 2 seconds. Come on, man. That's bullshit.
But I'm talking about Nia Jax was doing. Doing fairly well in the match itself, it's just.
I'm saying, but it's the same. It's
little. Who was it? It was Sasha Banks. Little itty bitty Sasha Banks tapped her out. Like what the hell was that?
Yeah, that was bullshit. That was
like
bullshit.
She couldn't power off, with that one arm and throw her against the ropes. Like
it was a good match. But obviously a lot of people are not talking about it. The Miz and Sami Zayn was actually a really good match, but it got overshadowed by a lot of other things, obviously. And that was something I think I was wrong about too. Actually, I think I might have said Sami was going to take it, but.
Yeah, the match was okay. For some reason, I liked it. The ending, I felt it was different. Like I don't remember anybody ever doing that. Ringing the bell, and I thought that he won, and then he just rolled over.
Why don't you ask Bret Hart?
No. I'm talking about the way it ended. Like she she hit the ring, and then he got rolled up.
Yeah, Bret Hart.
Screw job.
Yeah.
No,
the bell rang. The bell rang. Bret Hart was about to do the move. And the bell rang, and he got screwed. That's exactly what happened with the Miz and Sami Zayn.
No. But I'm just talking about how he celebrated, and he was like so happy that he won the Intercontinental title. And then next thing you know, the Miz just rolled him up. It was over. Like, I actually like. I kind of dig that.
It did. Yeah, it did fit. It fit the Miz. What was the best part? That was the best part too. No Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, but you want to know something? You want to hear what I'm hearing?
I don't know if I want to hear what you're hearing.
Well, here's the thing. The reason they gave the Miz the title is so it could be a face versus a heel. And once that's done, they're going to wind up giving Ziggler back that belt. Which I think is so stupid.
Yeah, nobody's going to
care. Because I think, Ziggler, he stopped with the Ziggler shit. I think, honestly, listen, the guy had his moments. He's not going anywhere. And he's annoying now at this point. You can't even rely on this guy at this point. He wins the belt. He's just holding a belt just to lose it in a few weeks because they have nobody else to hold that belt for, just to build a storyline. But they want to take it away from the guy. Just give it up, man.
And then on to the next match, which I told these guys off the show that, in my opinion, out of any of the 30 Survivor Series, and I'm talking about Survivor Series match, elimination match, this is the single greatest Survivor Series match of all time. What we saw with Raw versus SmackDown, with AJ, Roman, Shane, all those guys, that was the single greatest Survivor Series match of all time. And let me tell you something, AJ, for the most part, carried that match. He started it. Randy didn't really wrestle that much, and neither did Bray. At least until towards the end. But for the 50 almost 60 minutes of AJ flying around and Braun Strowman almost killing him on an absolutely reckless move as far as I mean I was scared because he literally threw AJ over the top rope like a motherfucker.
Yo,
like
that looked really scary. I thought for a minute that he was gonna land on his neck, but
me too, man.
Thank God, him being the great professional he was, he knew how to grab that rope and flip it off his body. So it was actually pretty good.
I'm like, that was reckless as hell, man. Braun literally, and he's, by the way, Braun's another guy, like I always say about Lesnar, he doesn't know his own strength. In other words, like he'll throw you for real. Like Bam Bam Bigelow threw Spike Dudley in the crowd. I mean, this guy is capable of things like that. And the way he threw AJ, in my opinion, was reckless. But can
I mention this real fast before we get into this match? Let me mention this real fast about the tag team one. I wanted to say like that to me that match was pretty slow until the ending. I really thought Sheamus and Cesaro and the Usos did a great job closing in that match. Like that was a really good back and forth. I mean, the Usos was looking sharp. Like
I'm glad you brought that up because in my opinion, Cesaro, that run that he had at the end, I mean, this is after what?
And the way he caught, one of the Usos from the air, and like the way he caught him with one arm.
When he did the swing, got out of the ring, did the uppercut, went back up the apron, went to the top rope, did like a frog splash in the midair, all in one motion. You can't have. The guys don't do that normally. Cesaro is a freak of fucking nature.
No, but did you see how he caught one of the Usos in the air? Yeah. With that one arm, he almost dropped him, picked him up, slammed. It was just amazing, man. Cesaro is a freak of nature, and I really don't understand why they don't do more with him.
Exactly. He's amazing. The matches he can have with AJ, man. Oh. But I'm glad, I'm starting to like Cesaro and Sheamus, and I'm glad that they won. They were the sole survivors. Nobody predicted that. Nobody foresaw that. That was cool. I like that. I really, really dug that a lot. But yeah, going back to the men's match, single greatest Survivor Series match of all time. Obviously, what's interesting to me is that, I mentioned about ECW, and I totally, WWE has done such a good job of making me forget that Rob Van Dam was the one that, used to do the Van Terminator. And WWE completely stole that from Rob Van Dam. Because now when I think about it, I think about Coast to Coast. That's what I think about. I don't think about Rob Van Dam. I think about Shane McMahon. They totally ripped that off. And they made that a point in that documentary, by the way. They didn't say, Shane, but they made it a point that Rob Van Dam came up with that and all that kind of stuff. But Shane doing the Coast to Coast, I thought like something really bad had happened. Like, thank goodness he was on SmackDown tonight. He was knocked out.
Silly though. Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed Randy Orton going over to Shane McMahon's son.
Yeah, he broke character.
Yeah.
But I think the reports was that Shane was supposed to actually kick out. That's why they stopped the count and then realized there was something wrong and they just took him out the match. It was pretty scary. Who do you blame? I can't blame Roman. I feel like the timing was off. Yeah. And like somebody had noted, like Shane didn't tuck his chin, or he didn't
If you watch it back, I thought Roman had gotten hurt because Roman's head went into the mat. It looked in other words, it looked like Shane did a DDT to Roman on the way down, basically.
That first of all, that move to the way he had to counter it is a risk. Because you're in midair coming in full speed and trying to leap towards him all the way that far. And him jumping towards him.
He got too high.
Rob Van Dam explained how dangerous that move is.
Yeah, you're taking a risk by jumping across the ring. And so you have Roman Reigns jumping in midair. There's not too much of a fucking...
He totally missed his gut.
That's going to be impact regardless. Yeah. It's just the fact that
and let's just face it, Shane is already to that age. He shouldn't even be doing moves like that no more. To be honest with you, I think this would be a hard lesson for him.
I don't know why. I don't know why. It's not. I don't think it's his age. I think he could still do it. But he shouldn't have been in the match. That's for sure.
Yeah.
He should not have been in the match. Undertaker should have been in that match. And
I mean, he looked good though. Shane looked, he did. He was still energetic. He was still all over the place.
You have a whole bunch
that one botch could have been bad, man.
You have a whole bunch of guys in that roster. There's no need for Shane McMahon to be out there. Honestly.
Yeah, but who else was he gonna put on SmackDown that's actually like
Undertaker?
Yeah, besides Undertaker, like
Kane.
star-worthy.
Kane?
Yes. Star-worthy. I'm sorry. I think Shane McMahon at this point is a bigger star than Kane.
I'm sorry. I would put Kane to counter Braun Strowman.
Hell no.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I know how you feel about Kane, but that's what I would do. Kane.
That would have been boring.
He's still
Dude,
Kane.
That would have been so boring.
Nah, people would have been into that.
For a
I
second,
didn't know that Kane beat Luke Harper in the pre-show. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but that would be for a second because you seen both
on
of
the
them
pre-show.
They're both big guys, so you see it for a second. Oh wow, cool. But then after that, when they started to hit each other,
so you have Braun eliminate Kane or whatever. But the point is that I would have put Kane more in that match than Shane. I'm sorry. That's what I would have done.
So you got big, Braun Strowman who could probably bench press 700 pounds, get counted out because little ugly James Ellsworth grabbed his boot, and he couldn't let go.
That was a good way though to eliminate him. I'm sorry, that was a good way.
It was great. It was great, and I love the fact how he just beat the shit out of Ellsworth, man. I mean, that first kick, that kick looked convincing. The way he stomped on his head.
It wasn't convincing. It was a kick.
No, but I mean, just the way he did it, man. Like, it really looked like he was picking and just beating the crap out of him. I loved it. I loved it. And then he threw him. Oh man.
Before we move on, I have to say that what I love the most is that Shane is still upset at Dean Ambrose, which I'm glad that they did because I thought that they were just going to be cool and all that, but Dean Ambrose is a fucking idiot, like costing his team, the Survivor Series match, everything was on the line. Let's not forget Undertaker threatened these guys on SmackDown, So I'm glad that Shane is still upset, and I think they're going to start working Shane and Ambrose instead of maybe Brock and because I think now we know where Brock is going. So
yeah.
I wanted to say something about this match. I really feel like it just made no sense. Why did you eliminate AJ? Why was the Wyatts, who got no momentum, coming into the Survivor Series, be the sole survivors, and then you're gonna bitch out AJ again today? It just makes no sense.
That pissed me off.
Doesn't make no sense.
That AJ
should have been that sole survivor, and it confused the shit out of me.
He was the workhorse of that match. I mean, from top to bottom, he was the workhorse of that team. If you watch that match, AJ did most of that work for that match, and he should have. I don't know. I'll buy that he wasn't the sole survivor, but I don't like the way he was eliminated. And then he got that. Wasn't he the one that got powerbombed by the Shield?
It was AJ, yeah, and then they pinned him after.
Yeah, they bitched him out to the Shield. Like I'm sorry, man, but I know everybody.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make no sense.
By the way, look how stupid people are, right? In Toronto, people booing Roman the entire the moment he walks out, booing him. The moment that they lift him up, they lift up AJ. Everybody's like, ooh, ah. Everybody loves Roman. Like, what the? Like, you were just booing him for 40 minutes. Anytime he got in the ring, they were booing him. And now
it really did.
And then they cheered him when he was. I was just like, this is the stupidest.
AJ Styles should have been the sole survivor, not Bray Wyatt, who hasn't won a match in how long. I don't get it. It just that booking made no sense.
I mean, I think they're rebuilding the Wyatts, so I don't mind that too much. I don't mind it.
I felt like it should have been AJ, man, because they bitched out AJ again today. So what was the why doing it like two times in 1 week?
I agree with you there. That should have definitely been AJ. But I don't mind.
Man. You don't want to AJ look weak, man. You know how much momentum AJ would have had if he would have been a sole survivor?
I mean, let's face it. You do have Bray and Randy Orton together. I mean, that's a pretty dominant force.
No, I know, but it's just still. I still felt like it should have been AJ. Maybe AJ and Randy Orton, or maybe AJ and Bray, but not just those two. I just don't get it.
I agree 100% about AJ. But AJ is like. Even I know what you're saying about tonight, like he got bitched out, but even that AJ made look good. You know what I mean? Like AJ getting caught in the ropes tonight when Ellsworth was going for the count. Even that AJ made that look so good.
Yeah, he did.
That's how good AJ is. Like he'll make anything look fucking good in that ring. AJ is just like he's off the stratosphere right now. I mean, once again, I said it before and I'll say it again. He is the WWE champion, and for the first time in a long time, the best wrestler in the company is the actual champion.
And you said that you think is going to set up Dean Ambrose and Shane McMahon. My theory is maybe he fires him from SmackDown and then he goes to Raw and ends up doing that Shield thing again, like a Shield reunion. I mean, that's because remember, there's been rumors about the Shield might be reforming. So I'm leaning more towards that. I feel like he's going to fire.
Who they going to combat? Who they going to combat on Raw?
I don't know. I don't know, but
there might be a trade. There might be a trade because Shane feels, if you want to defend these guys, Raw, then we're gonna trade you, and we're gonna get somebody that we need on our team.
But I am gonna say that Dean Ambrose was funny as hell today. Like the way he kept coming back and just with the pizza, I thought it was hilarious.
I'm sorry to say this, Ambrose has been my guy from before he got there. I'm annoyed with him. I'm sorry.
But I thought today was funny. I haven't laughed in a long time.
The only thing that I liked was the Mountie thing when he said the Mountie always gets his man, because that's what the Mountie used to say. That was the only thing I liked. But other than that, I felt like Shane. Like he was annoying. Like I really did feel like Shane McMahon. Like he was bothering me. Like I don't know. And by the way, when AJ came out at the Survivor Series, did you see how over AJ was? Like that was incredible. Like he was fucking over.
AJ right now he has that not exactly, but he's on that level, I guess, a little where like Daniel Bryan, you can't hate him. You just gotta root for the guy.
The guy is so good, man. The guy is just freaking good.
Whatever he does, people are into it. No matter what. And if somebody goes against AJ, you're going to get booed.
Yeah, because people weren't into that. They weren't that much into Ellsworth tonight, and they weren't that much into Ambrose when he was helping him.
Yeah, Ellsworth is running his course, man. Yeah. He's running his course fast. And I'm so happy, too, man.
I think the fans now know that he signed the contract. Now they're saying, fuck.
Exactly. First it was like, give this guy a chance. He's a loser. Look at him. But then he got it. It's like, oh, man.
Now, so let's give up now.
But that's the stupidity and the mentality of today's fans. They're so stupid, Like we root for the guy because he doesn't work there and all that, and then when he gets the contract, we don't like you anymore. I'm telling you, I still think he's going to turn at some point.
Okay, let's be honest. Where does Ellsworth go from here? Like, he's not going to get a title. What is going to happen? What is going to be his long term?
But can I just say something for the record? How do you know for sure that he's not going to get the title? I mean, what if? What if?
Then it'll make wrestling look like the biggest joke next to the dick drop, the people's dick drop. That's what I compared to that.
I'm just saying, like, I never say never about anything. Like I've learned my lesson on that, and you never ever know. Like logic will tell you that yes, he never in a million years would he beat AJ in a real match without Ambrose. But the way things are going today, you never know, man. You never know. I don't know.
Yeah, but I have a weird feeling they're gonna wind up turning Ambrose into the bad guy, and AJ is gonna turn into the good guy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Because it's just people. You saw how people were frustrated to the fact that this guy came and he went at AJ, and AJ did cost him the elimination.
Yeah.
So obviously it does make sense, but at the same time, like I said, people are so with AJ that they don't want to see that guy fucking lose. And the main guy,
I don't want to see him as a good guy.
But you know what's funny is that AJ goes out there and does everything under the sun to be the bad guy, and they still cheer him. He could go out there and spit on you, and you'd be like, "Yeah, you spit on me."
I don't want to see AJ as a good guy though. I feel like AJ as a good guy is just it's corny. Like I like him as a bad guy. I'm better than you. That attitude, I don't like him.
As long as he's in the company, I honestly, I'm good. AJ's in the company. He's a WWE champion. I'm good. I'm good with that. But on to the
His best work on the mic. He's just on
For
a roll.
sure.
Man.
For sure. Best work on the mic. So on to the main event,
Yes.
which was, of course, Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar.
The man. Sorry.
So, it was funny because we all, obviously, everyone, not all, almost everyone was like, Brock Lesnar is winning this. I said it. Everybody thought that. Even though I did say a couple of weeks ago, are you sure? Maybe it's possible,
No, but I did say this, that Vince had a hard time deciding because he didn't know if this guy was going to stick around. But obviously we know what now why he got fucking up.
But I will say that I was right about the fact that he did not get booed. He got cheered, and if anything, Lesnar got booed in Canada.
But it could have happened on Raw, though. I'm sorry.
Yes,
it could have happened on Raw because
talking
about
chance,
right?
Yeah, but the match only lasted a minute and a half. Like, who's to say during the match somehow they would have said, you know what, fuck Goldberg. He's slipping, he's botching. We don't like.
When they announced, when Goldberg made his entrance, and even when they did the announcement, they booed Lesnar. It was clear.
No, they did. I'm not gonna do that. I really did think that I was gonna hear more Suplex City on chance. But that being said, I have to say that Bill Goldberg looked in great shape, man. Like,
yes, incredible.
If he would have colored his beard, I would have thought that was a walkout from '98. He looked really good. That's
exactly what I said to one of the people that was in my house. If he would have colored his beard, you wouldn't know that this was right now. Like, he had that. I mean, he looked awesome, man. He looked awesome. And by the way, I know the technical standpoint is that it was really fast, but on the same token, he did not botch. He did not slip. He did not fumble.
And you know what? I had a hard time at first. When I saw the match, I said, why would they do that to Brock? I was a little upset. But the more I thought about it, I said, you know what? I think they did the right thing. I really do think. I think they... I don't know. I just felt like
I don't think they did the right thing.
Let me just make this one point. I feel like they saved Goldberg from an embarrassment, from a long match. He did the 3 moves that he did flawlessly, perfect. And, it's the build up for something more in the future. I felt like they did it to bring Goldberg to, like, this is Goldberg. This is what he used to do, and he's still doing it.
Right.
Let's see what we're going to do with him in the future.
I don't know if you know this or not, but guess whose idea that was?
Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
I heard about it, yeah. It was Brock.
But here's my problem with it. Check this out. My problem with it is they could have done something a little bit different instead of having him job in a minute and 30 seconds or whatever the fuck it was.
I agree.
Because, first of all, this is the guy that's been dominating all the guys, right? And especially Taker. You just took away Taker's fucking streak.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you could have had at least a 10-minute match, dude, and have him job. Yes.
No, but you know what it is? But look how they did it, though. Look how they did it. They had it like Brock was underestimating him.
Let me look this up.
Brock, okay, that I agree with. That I agree with. I agree with all on that. And the other thing about it is nobody would have ever thought that would happen. Nobody.
Yeah, right. That's what I said. That's what I mean.
That was the same kind of jaw-dropping thing that the Undertaker had. That this was. This was a jaw-dropping, like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's why WWE did a lot of that shock value. But the other thing is, fucking Goldberg, he was huffing and puffing in that minute and 30 seconds.
He was
profusely.
Yeah,
but he hasn't been in the ring in 12 years.
But that was my fear. That's what I'm saying. That's why it was the best thing they did was keep it short and sweet. That's why I felt like that.
I still don't think they should have jobbed Lesnar.
Yeah, that I agree with.
But the way they did it, though, look how the way they did it. He underestimated him. He got up. He took his eyes off of him because he thought Goldberg ain't shit, and Goldberg caught him by surprise. It wasn't like it was he came and fucked him up.
But
you know what I'm saying?
Just threw away all that effort you did to build this guy up. You threw that all away.
That was exactly what my father said. That was exactly, my father was pissed. But, by the way, he wanted Goldberg to win. But he was pissed at the fact that the way, again, you have, like Byron said, you had a guy decimate The Undertaker. You had a guy decimate John Cena. I don't know if you remember SummerSlam, he destroyed John Cena.
Twice,
like nobody.
actually. I think twice.
But SummerSlam particularly, like that was a destruction of all destructions. Like I've never seen anything.
But that's
like
why this is not going to hurt Brock. You know there's going to be a third match, and you know
course.
Brock is going to dominate. You know, and my prediction, you know, the first thing I thought about, and I'm not saying it's a prediction, but this is what might happen, I think, is Goldberg probably might win the Royal Rumble, and somewhere down the line, Brock is going to beat Kevin Owens for the belt or somebody for the belt, and that's how it's going to set it up for WrestleMania. I mean, I feel like that's the right thing to do.
Brock is going to be in the Royal Rumble, dude.
Yeah.
And they're both going to headline Mania.
Yeah, no, we know. We know that he's...
Oh, okay. I figured that could have been what was going to happen.
But regardless, I just think it was just too.
Goldberg's not winning. Yeah. By the way, I have no problem whatsoever with Goldberg winning.
Yeah, neither do I.
It's the way I agree with Byron. Yes, Goldberg. You know, he had a shoulder thing, but you could have done something. Lesnar could have put him in a hold. You know, something where Lesnar, you know, showed some kind of, you know, what he is. You can't, but I also agree with, I do agree with the fact that storyline purposes, Lesnar did underestimate Goldberg, and when he shoved him on the floor, Lesnar laughed at him, then he turned his back on him, and then Goldberg caught him with 2 spears. It wasn't, you know, so I agree with that part. But again, you know, you still have to figure that, again, this guy decimated all these guys. Nobody, you know, we went into this match last week saying, there's no way Goldberg's gonna fucking win. I mean, nobody thought Goldberg was gonna win with fucking a beast like fucking Lesnar, you know. But
I said it because he already won the first match.
Exactly.
So I figured.
Yeah, that too. But what I'm fascinated is that it shows you, and I said for weeks, it's all about cooperation. And what this shows you is that if Brock respects you, he will go to the moon for you. He respects The Undertaker. We know that. He respects certain guys. There's a lot of guys he doesn't respect. Ambrose, one of them. I'm sure he doesn't respect a lot of the guys on the roster. I'm being serious. But he likes Goldberg and respects Goldberg, and he actually is the one that said to do it that way. That shows a lot of character in Brock Lesnar because, you know, that would, you know, Brock, I'm surprised didn't say to himself, that might threaten, you know, my status. But he was like, nah, fuck it. Goldberg's going to destroy me the way I destroyed Undertaker.
And let's be honest. If they would have had a 10-minute match, right? Like, do you think the internet would have been buzzing the way they did on Survivor Series? I don't think so. I think it would have been like, okay, Goldberg won. That's it.
That's a good point.
The way he beat Brock, I'm talking about this made major website news, man. This came out of World Star Hip Hop.
It was shot. They did. That's what they were gunning for, is the shock value also. They did it the whole night.
For that purpose, it was a good thing.
And also, if it would have went longer, they were afraid, and I think they were afraid that Goldberg was going to buy somewhere. He was going to huff and puff, like Byron was saying. Something was going to happen. Goldberg was not going to go through that match smoothly, like everybody thought. That's why I think that they did it fast. They wanted to protect Goldberg, make him look like a monster, and that's it. And they'll work on his flaws in the future.
Exactly. Well, that I agree with. I don't. By the way, I think if Goldberg was more, he said it himself. He didn't have time to prepare. So I think if Goldberg let's say like that Goldberg wrestles Lesnar at WrestleMania, right? That's a while to prepare for yourself. I think Goldberg is going to surprise a lot of people in his match.
I don't know if you heard this story. I think Dave Meltzer, somebody reported it, that Goldberg had said that he had told Vince McMahon that if you know, as many times as Vince wants him to appear in a wrestling aspect, then, you know, just let him know and he'll do it.
I know Goldberg is very into it now. You can see it. You can see that Goldberg is into it.
Yeah, a little too into it, to the fact that I'm getting really sick and tired of seeing his son. And I don't want to sound like a jackass, but I don't want to see his wife no more. I don't want to see his son with no shirt on in the middle of the ring. I don't want to see that. You know, I feel like they're making him look weak.
It's the first time.
No,
I don't know, but I don't think
gonna
so.
mention that. Why the hell did his son get in the ring without a shirt?
Without a shirt, with titties, with titties.
I don't know. I agree about the. I agree about
you
the.
You got your jacked up father next to you, and you got titties, and you're like 10. Like, what the hell is
no,
this?
but it just I just don't understand why he fucking shirt.
Why do you care about what shape his son is in?
I really thought that Brock was gonna come in and F5 him. That would have been great, man.
That would have been awesome. That would have been fucking awesome. Oh my god, I would love that. I would absolutely love that. And by the way, don't
I'm talking about F5 his kid, not Goldberg.
I know.
You know why they wouldn't do that? You know why they wouldn't do that? Because of the everybody would have a problem.
Also, with the PG thing?
Get over it.
So you're telling me they can have a segment where they video distorting Enzo's penis, but they won't have him F5.
Yeah, but look, it's like having somebody.
Goldberg is all right with it. You know, I would do it. I would have Brock Lesnar. Maybe not F5 because I think that's a little bit too strong. But
listen.
No, I do. I just see the kid landing wrong. You know, I think that's a little bit too much.
But I landed on his breast.
But I do think
soft breast.
I do want to say, I don't mind Brock. I don't mind Goldberg putting his son in the ring. I mean, his son never got to see that, so I don't mind that. But
let's stop it now. You know, like let's not keep on showing his wife and his kid. Come on, it's enough now.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? Because you know what's obviously gonna happen, right? But obviously the storyline is gonna be Brock's gonna come out and pick on them in ringside. That's obviously what's next. So it's like it's so obvious.
I would totally have Lesnar like do something to the kid. Definitely. I would definitely
give him a wedgie or something and walk around with him. Like
I would shove him, on the floor or not F5 because again, I don't think you would have to have the kid. He could land in so many different ways with Lesnar's strength. The fucking Lesnar could toss him in. You think Braun tossed AJ? Imagine Lesnar fucking tossing this kid. Like, come on, that'd be too much. But I would do it. I would do something.
But I feel like they did the right thing. They preserved Goldberg. They didn't make Goldberg didn't look stupid because it was really short. He didn't have time to look stupid. I feel like they did the right thing. But I think the third match is definitely gonna be way more different than what we saw.
But you know what's fascinating about this is that the crowd was happy. The crowd went ballistic when Goldberg did that. They loved it, and everybody was like, yeah, that was awesome. Everybody that I know that was into Goldberg loved what happened at Survivor Series. They were all into it. Nobody had a problem with it at all because Lesnar has been so dominant and all that. People were like, now he gets it. So people had the crowd was watch that crowd when he gets him up in the jackhammer and the count. The crowd went crazy for it. They weren't.
Because everybody was like, "Oh my god, don't tell me," because I did the same thing. I was like,
I thought he was gonna kick out. I'm like, Brock's gonna kick out. You already know. And I'm like, wow.
No, actually, when Lesnar when the match first started, he picked Goldberg up. I was like, Lesnar's just gonna toss this motherfucker around. I was like, this is bad.
But I tell you one thing though, Goldberg's push looked legitimate though. It looked like a real hard push. Yeah. Like it looked really believable. I don't know if Brock sold it really well. That was really Goldberg's power, but it looked pretty good.
No, it looked good. I thought Goldberg looked amazing in every aspect of that.
Yeah, he definitely surprised me. I thought he was gonna look like how he looked when Rusev stepped to him. But he looked way better.
No, he looked way better. I told you
he's on. He need to do more of it.
I told you he was gonna be prepared, man.
I was hoping he'd be prepared.
He looked in good shape, and imagine what he's gonna look like at the Rumble. He's going to have time now to train and all that. Forget about it. And let's not forget, I told you last week, this guy's been training MMA style for 12 years. It's not like Goldberg's been sitting at home watching TV.
Yeah, but he needs to train wrestling style now, no MMA style. Go back to what you was doing before because MMA style is really going to take you so far in the match.
I agree. But what's done is done. I do agree with O on the fact that I don't think ultimately it hurts Brock Lesnar. I don't. I think people still know that Brock is Brock, and I think the story is that he got caught by Goldberg. He got caught off guard. I think they could pass with that. I really do. I don't think
Yeah,
it's gonna.
we know Paul Heyman. You're not a man. You couldn't do it face to face, eye to eye. You had to wait to,
Yeah.
Paul Heyman. But Paul Heyman, once Paul Heyman gets on that mic one time, that's it. It's gonna be an afterthought.
But I first of all, for me as a wrestling fan who lived through the Monday Night Wars, I think it's cool as fuck that Goldberg is not only that he came back, but that he's also gonna keep going. That he's gonna be at the Rumble.
And he's the last guy, right, from that era.
Yeah,
especially in WCW. That's
By the
it.
way,
After him, there's no more.
You know what I thought about too when Goldberg did that? I was like, man, I wonder what Sting is thinking about right now. Because not even Sting got treated that well.
You're right.
Sting didn't get treated that well when he had his match with Triple H. Goldberg, they put him in a different plateau with that. Goldberg is now in a different stratosphere than everybody else because of that.
But you have to understand, Goldberg is in good shape. I mean, if Sting was in at least decent shape when he had the, but we're talking about flat top shape. When he was like with the white hair, at least close to that. He probably would have been treated better. He just looked a little older. He had a shirt. He was wrestling with a shirt on.
He had a good match with Sting. I mean, with Triple H. And by the way, Sting was older than Goldberg when he had that match.
But what was he, like 53? Right? 54?
I thought Sting had a good showing.
He had a good showing, but I feel like Goldberg looks more up for par. That's why. He looks like he kept himself up better than Sting did.
Maybe. But anyway, that is what went down this weekend, and there's going to be obviously a lot more to talk about in the coming weeks. What's interesting to me is that I was so excited about Survivor Series. I enjoyed myself, obviously. I enjoyed myself on the entire weekend. Now I'm just looking forward to the Royal Rumble. I could care less about the TLC. I want that to be over so that the Royal Rumble could start. Because that Royal Rumble is going to be the 30th anniversary. It's going to be in the Alamo Dome. That's going to be a crazy Royal Rumble, man. That's going to be a good fucking Royal Rumble. Can't wait. That's a pay-per-view I really can't wait for.
I wanted to say something about Raw real fast. Did y'all notice? And I'm just praying to God, praying that this is actually going to go through. But did y'all notice that the New Day was actually acting a little heelish after they beat and they cheated with Cesaro and Sheamus? They were kind of acting like heels throughout the whole match. And if you really look back at it, Xavier Woods was back to talking his crap. The crowd was booing him because and I don't know. I'm just hoping and praying, please. Is this the beginning of a heel turn? Because they are getting so corny.
I think Sheamus and Cesaro are so over that they might not have a choice. But that's good. I didn't see Raw, so that's a good thing.
It was the first match. It was actually a pretty good match, and it's just the New Day was acting really heelish.
That's good.
I'm telling you this now. You have to watch Jericho and Kevin Owens segment.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm telling you, those two are gold, man.
And we didn't even mention the fact that Jericho was the most over in that whole pay-per-view.
Oh, it was in Canada.
I heard that
AJ was up there. AJ was up there and being over.
I think AJ is the one that AJ and Jericho actually. I can say Jericho too
because Jericho's from Canada.
Yeah, but people are just into Jericho at this point.
And so is Owens.
Owens too. But listen, I heard that Jericho.
Didn't you see at Survivor Series when Owens got eliminated? Jericho was like, "You can't eliminate my best friend." They just kept doing the whole best friend.
And then they hugged, and Kevin Owens hugged them before he started the match. It was fucking great.
I heard that Jericho actually pitched to Vince to have a movie about close friends, and it was supposed to be with him and Kevin Owens.
Okay, that's going too far.
He actually pitched it to Vince, but Vince they turned it down.
Thank God. That's going too far. You just made the list. Jericho finds new ways to get over it.
Yeah.
But
I told you, once it's cool now, but if you continue doing the same thing,
I'm telling you, it's still over. Still over. I don't feel like that is played out at all. I really don't.
But it will happen.
I can't get enough.
The same thing over and over. Listen, I know Jericho.
Well, guess what, Byron? You just made my list.
I know Jericho will find another thing to get something else over. I'm sure Jericho is not dumb. I'm sure he knows that it after a while things like that get a little stale and shit. So Jericho's
you know that they're gonna wrestle at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
that's the match.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We'll
for
see.
sure. Over the weekend, there was 2 losses that really shocked me: Brock Lesnar and Mickey James' ass. Because I don't know what the hell happened to that shit. 'Cause that shit was non-existent, man.
Yeah, that's just disappeared.
Oh my god, what the hell happened to Mickey James?
What is Magnus doing?
She did have 2 kids. Sometimes that happens, but damn, I didn't expect that, man. But it is what it is.
Wait, she had 2 kids?
I think it's 2, right? 1 or 2, I don't know. I know she has kids.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
All right, so that's it basically. Awesome weekend. We got our money's worth. If you have the network, you got more than your money's worth, man. I don't know how anybody cannot spend $10 on all the stuff we got and all the stuff that's on there right now. And by the way, JBL doing the Legend Show with Sting. I hope JBL asks him, about his run here in WWE.
Wait a minute. That's still
they already had one already.
No, it's a new one, isn't it? It's not?
No, it's been out already. It's been had it.
I'm sorry. I didn't know.
You talked about it.
Oh, did I?
You talked about it, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the show that it looked like Sting still wants to fight Undertaker. He still got that desire.
Yeah.
Like,
sorry, yeah, you're right. I'm smoking way too much. All right. So anyway, I cannot recommend enough that ECW thing. Watch that ECW thing. Trust me.
If you could find it, because I cannot find that shit still. But yeah.
Watching that as soon as we go get off the air.
I'm telling you, watch it. We'll talk about it next week. Thank you very much for listening to the show. The man who sleeps on the floor cannot possibly fall out of bed. Good night.
With the mouth, dude.